Good morning, everyone. As you know, we've gathered to discuss leadership strategies moving forward. Bristol Myers Squibb has a rich history, but history alone doesn't guarantee future success.
With all due respect, Anna, we've been a leader in this industry for decades. What exactly are we trying to fix?
Not fix, Mark, enhance. The healthcare landscape is shifting, and we need to adapt to stay ahead. Let's start with the challenges we face. First, embrace change.
Absolutely. The regulatory hurdles alone. It feels like the rules are rewritten every quarter.
Tell me about it. I remember when the FDA was predictable. Now it's a crapshoot.
Exactly. We need to be proactive, not reactive. Anticipate the changes, not just scramble to catch up. Which leads us to our next challenge, focus on innovation.
Innovation? We're a pharmaceutical company. What do you think we do all day?
I'm talking about a paradigm shift, Mark. Not just tweaking existing formulas, but true, groundbreaking innovation. Embracing new technologies, exploring uncharted territories.
Like what? Gene therapy? Personalized medicine? Those are long shots, Anna. Expensive long shots.
They're also the future, Peter, and if we don't invest in them now, we'll be left behind. Our third challenge, build a diverse team.
Diversity isn't just a buzzword, it's a necessity. Different perspectives, different backgrounds. It fuels creativity.
Homogeneity breeds stagnation.
Which brings us to communication, clear, transparent communication, internally and externally.
Easier said than done, especially when you're dealing with sensitive information, regulatory constraints.
Of course, but transparency builds trust, and trust is essential, both with our employees and with the public. Finally, foster a culture of resilience.
Resilience? We're talking about setbacks, failures?
Inevitably, not every drug will succeed, not every strategy will work, but we need to learn from our mistakes, adapt, and keep moving forward. That's resilience. These are the challenges we face, but they're also opportunities. Opportunities to lead, to innovate, to shape the future of healthcare. Are we up to the task? So who wants to tackle embracing change? Sarah, you've been quiet.
Change is the only constant, right? Seriously, though, it's about being nimble. We can't be dinosaurs, clinging to old ways. Regulatory changes, market shifts, new tech. We have to be ready to pivot, quickly.
Easier said than done when we're talking about years of research and development. You can't just pivot a clinical trial.
No, but you can adapt the strategy. Maybe explore alternative trial designs, or leverage real-world data to supplement clinical findings. Think outside the box.
All this thinking outside the box, it costs money and time.
And staying inside the box will cost us market share, which brings us to innovation. We can't just tweak existing formulas. We need to be actively seeking out new ideas, new technologies.
Like what? We already have teams dedicated to research and development.
I'm talking about more than just R&D. It's about fostering a culture of innovation, encouraging employees to think creatively, to experiment, to challenge the status quo, embracing risk even.
We could create an internal incubator program, give employees the resources to develop their own innovative ideas.
Or partner with startups. Tap into their disruptive technologies.
Startups? That's even more risk.
It's calculated risk, Peter. We can't afford to be afraid of the future. The healthcare landscape is evolving at warp speed. If we don't innovate, we'll be left in the dust. All right, diversity. Who wants to champion that one? David, you've been doing great work with the employee resource groups.
Happy to, Anna. It's not just about ticking boxes, right? It's about bringing different perspectives to the table, different backgrounds, different experiences. That's where the real innovation comes from.
Easier said than done. This industry, it's still pretty homogenous at the top.
We need to be proactive. Targeted recruitment, mentorship programs. Make sure everyone has a fair shot.
Sounds expensive. And what about qualifications? Are we lowering our standards to meet quotas?
Absolutely not, Peter. It's about expanding our talent pool, not diluting it. And frankly, if you think diversity initiatives are just about quotas, you're missing the point entirely. Moving on, communication. Mark, you're up.
Clear and transparent communication. Easier said than done, especially with sensitive information, regulatory constraints.
Of course, but transparency builds trust, and trust is essential, both with our employees and with the public. Absolutely. And what about fostering resilience? Things will go wrong, trials will fail, products will stumble.
We need to create a safe space for failure. Not celebrate it exactly, but acknowledge that it's a part of the process.
Postmortems that focus on learning, not blaming.
Easier said than done when millions are on the line.
Size. It's necessary, Peter. A culture of fear is a culture of stagnation. We need people to take risks, to push boundaries. All right, that covers challenges. Now, success. And that, of course, begins and ends with the patient.
We need to make sure that every decision, every strategy, is driven by what's best for the people we're trying to help.
It's easy to lose sight of that, caught up in the numbers and the regulations. We need to constantly remind ourselves why we're here.
Exactly. We need to keep the patient at the center of everything we do. So how do we drive growth through innovation?
More funding for R&D, obviously, but smarter funding. We need to be willing to take some risks on truly disruptive technologies, not just incremental improvements.
And we need to create an environment where people feel empowered to come up with those disruptive ideas. Hackathons, internal incubators. Let's unleash the creativity within this company.
That sounds like a waste of resources. We should be focused on proven strategies, not chasing every shiny new thing.
Firmly. We can do both, Peter. We have to. The future of this company depends on our ability to innovate, which brings us to talent development.
We've got some great leadership programs already in place, but we need to make sure they're accessible to everyone, not just the chosen few.
And it's not just about formal training, mentorship, on-the-job learning. Create a culture of continuous growth.
We also need to identify and nurture talent early on. Give young employees opportunities to shine, even if it means taking a chance on someone who's not yet fully ready.
Again, are we lowering our standards?
Exasperated. Peter, it's about recognizing potential. It's about investing in people who have the drive and the passion to make a difference. It's about building a pipeline of future leaders who reflect the diversity of our workforce and the patients we serve. Are there any other comments? All right, collaboration. How do we foster strategic partnerships?
We've seen success with joint ventures, sharing resources, expertise.
But it can't just be about the bottom line. There needs to be a shared vision, a commitment to patient outcomes.
And transparency. Clear lines of communication. We've had partnerships fall apart because of misunderstandings, conflicting priorities.
All this kumbaya is nice, but let's be real. We're talking about protecting our intellectual property, giving away the farm.
It's not about giving away the farm, Peter. It's about recognizing that we can't do everything ourselves. Sometimes the best way to accelerate innovation is to partner with someone who has complementary strengths.
Look at our work with gene tech. They had the delivery system we needed, and we had the molecule. It was a win-win.
Exactly. We need to be proactive in identifying potential partners, not just waiting for them to come to us.
Scouting new technologies, attending conferences, building relationships with academic institutions.
Okay, so proactive partnership development, transparency, shared vision, got it. Now adapting to market dynamics. This industry moves fast. What are we doing to stay ahead of the curve? All right then, let's talk about leading with purpose. It's more than just corporate mission statements. It's about inspiring our teams.
It starts with communicating the why. Why we do what we do, not just the what and the how.
And demonstrating that purpose through our actions. Walking the walk.
All well and good, but how does this translate to increased revenue?
People are more motivated when they believe in what they're doing. That leads to increased productivity, more innovation, and yes, ultimately, better financial results.
Exactly. It's about creating a culture where everyone feels like they're contributing to something bigger than themselves, which brings us to empowering employees.
Giving them autonomy, letting them own their projects.
Providing the resources and support they need to succeed.
Scoffs. Sounds like micromanagement's worst nightmare.
It's about trust, Peter. Trusting our people to make the right decisions, of course with appropriate oversight and guidance.
And that trust has to be earned, which is why ethics and integrity are so critical.
Leading by example. Setting a high bar for ethical conduct.
Holding people accountable when they fall short, no exceptions.
So, more rules and regulations? Just what we need.
It's about creating a culture of integrity, Peter, where people feel safe to speak up when they see something wrong, where ethical behavior is rewarded, not punished. So let's talk about diversity and inclusion. It's not just a box to check.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that different perspectives drive innovation.
And creating an environment where everyone feels valued and respected.
Feels a bit touchy-feely, doesn't it? What's the ROI?
A more creative and engaged workforce, Peter. Different viewpoints challenge assumptions, lead to better problem solving. It impacts everything from product development to marketing.
David's right. And it's not just about ticking boxes, it's about creating a real culture shift, which means continuous learning and adaptation. This industry never stands still.
We need to be proactive about identifying emerging trends, new technologies.
And making sure our people have the skills they need to stay ahead of the curve.
More training seminars? Seriously?
It's an investment, Peter, in our people and in our future. We need to be constantly learning, unlearning, and relearning.
Which brings us to research and development. It's the lifeblood of this company.
We need to be investing in new technologies, new approaches.
And fostering a culture of collaboration, both internally and externally.
Collaboration? Sounds like a good way to slow things down.
It's about leveraging expertise, Peter. Sharing resources, working together to solve complex problems.
Exactly. And that includes prioritizing talent development. We need to be nurturing our people, giving them opportunities to grow.
Providing leadership development programs, mentoring opportunities.
And communicating transparently, keeping everyone informed about what's going on.
More meetings? Just what we need.
It's about building trust, Peter. Making sure everyone feels like they're in the loop.
And finally, leading with resilience. This industry is full of challenges. We need to be able to bounce back from setbacks, adapt to change.
And inspire our people to do the same.
Because ultimately, it's about making a difference in people's lives.